Hey everyone, Bryan Zane here. I am joined by J Biggs. You know, I say hello, but I should be saying good day, mate, because we are here to talk about Super Showdown. It happened this past Saturday. We weren't able to watch it until like just now, Monday morning, here in the good old US of A. And so we wanted to give our thoughts about the show for the channel. Quick little disclaimer: unlike other pay-per-view reviews I've done, we will not be ranking these matches on a 4-star system or a 5-star system or none of that. We're going to give our grades at the end of the review, but we're not going to rank each individual match. So let's just start off right here with the Smackdown Tag Team title match as the New Day defended against the Bar. Of course, these two teams have a lot of history. It was the Bar that snapped the New Day's historic run as tag champions on Raw, and so there's a lot of background with that. And of course, all four of these guys, 5 if you include Big E, who wasn't officially in the match, all these guys are just spectacular athletes and find ways to steal the show seemingly on a weekly basis, it seems. So this is kind of a match made in heaven. What were your thoughts about this matchup?
I thought the match was really good. I mean, from start to finish, it was action-packed. As you mentioned, all the athletes in there are, top tier. So I thought it was a great match. So either way, the outcome, I thought maybe the Bar might have won, but either way, it was a good match. So.
We had Chris, who plays the Know It All fan, IWC, on the channel. He was here watching the show with us. I guess he doesn't watch SmackDown as regularly as we do because he's like seeing Big E coming out. Is he got a pancake pocket? Referring to Big E. I'm like, oh, there's not a pocket in there. He's literally just like pulling him out of his singlet.
Right, absolutely.
The match ended when Kofi does a double stomp onto Cesaro when he's already braced up in a backbreaker spot by Xavier.
Right,
good thing that Finn Balor was not working this show because I'm sure they would have had some words.
What could we have done with Finn at that point?
Yeah, Finn would have been hopeless for Finn if he didn't have the coup de grace to work with at the end of the match. But yeah, it was a really, the New Day and the Bar, they are what they are. They impressed once again. The New Day hold on to the belts. Up next, the SmackDown Women's Championship as Becky Lynch, the new champ, defended against Charlotte. This match, I'm trying to compare it to the one at Hell in a Cell when Becky won it. I don't think it was on that same level, especially because the emotion involved with Becky winning. Nothing's going to top that. Nothing they could have done at this show.
Right.
But I think there were still some things worth talking about. That bump that Charlotte took when she was pulled by the arm to the outside.
The outside, that was scary.
She almost gave herself a tombstone. That was
not
very pretty. It's like Charlotte kind of does that. I think Charlotte and Sasha Banks are kind of kindred spirits where they each do a lot of stuff where it looks like they could easily kill themselves if one bad thing happens.
It makes it more believable.
It makes it more exciting in that way too. They each trade top rope maneuvers. Charlotte with the moonsault and Becky with the leg drop. Both of them fail that. The match ends when Becky tries to do a cowardly escape with the belt, and then it gets brought into the ring in the scuffle, as Chris referred to it, Chekhov's belt. And then Charlotte's got her in the figure 8. Becky takes the belt and spanks her. Whips her, spanks her, call it what you will. That's pretty much how it was. And the match is thrown out in disqualification. Charlotte wins, but Becky still holds on to the belt. What did you think about that finish, first of all? Was that like a good heel finish?
I thought that was a good heel finish. Yeah, it made sense, because they didn't really focus. When she first brought the belt back into the ring, they didn't focus on that. They went right to the figure 8 spot, And so it kind of made you for a second forget about, because if you watch Becky's hand, she wasn't grabbing for the belt. She was grabbing for the ropes, trying to get out of the figure 8. So then when she did find the belt, it was like, oh my gosh, the belt's right here.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of a cool finish. But the crowd was in such an odd predicament, I think, like we were talking about throughout the match with how, Charlotte's obviously the face and Becky's the heel, but you just want to cheer Becky.
Yeah.
And she's justified in all of her heel actions so far.
Yeah, through no fault of her own, Charlotte has kind of been put into this Roman Reigns position.
Right.
Where she's going against someone who fans have more of a natural gravitation toward because of her personality and her story. And so...
more of a Daniel Bryan-like.
Yeah, I think I'd say that Charlotte is the Roman Reigns, Becky is the Daniel Bryan in this analogy. Because both have a kind of plucky underdog thing that people want to see do well, and you've got the establishment of Roman and or Charlotte and that sort of thing. So the match ends in disqualification, and they're going to have a rematch tonight actually on SmackDown. I believe if Becky gets disqualified, she loses the belt stipulation that was added last minute.
Oh wow!
But then the big story after this match, they fight some more, and then Becky she stands tall at the end after stealing the win from Charlotte or escaping with the championship. She then beats the hell out of Charlotte some more. So really, it's like I don't know if it's a bad move or a brilliant move, because like it makes Becky doubly hated, but at the same time, like Charlotte doesn't get a chance to shine at all in this.
Well, they're just trying. I mean, they don't want her to get over, obviously, or something. I mean,
I think it's an issue where, there's no question now. Some fans want to foolishly believe that, they're booking Becky as a babyface, but it's one of those like subtle babyface things where it's like, no, after that finish, there's no ambiguity. No, she's clearly a heel in this situation.
Right.
There's people are still going to cheer for her. I'm not saying that's not going to happen, but that's how it's going to be. I don't know why I wrote this in my notes like this, but I have a thing where I kind of have a heading for every matchup. So like Charlotte versus Becky, New Day versus Bar. This is what I wrote. Elias and Kevin Owens versus Bobby Lashley and Australia. I don't know why I wrote that, but apparently John Cena represents all of the values and
anywhere he goes.
The power of Australia. I never knew that. That's a wrinkle that I wouldn't have expected. But I tell you what else I didn't expect was John Cena's dad haircut, despite not being a father. Can you believe that?
Well, right. I see what happens when you stop messing around with Nikki Bella.
You let yourself go.
Yeah, I guess so.
So many jokes about that. He's got the JBL look. The JBL got shredded all of a sudden. This look aged him terribly. I have to say, he's getting up there in age. We all know that. But I always felt the crew cut, he was always able to maintain that kind of like youthful look about him because he's always in such good shape. But that haircut, especially, not just the fact of the length of it, but also he's balding. Yeah. That was a tacky look.
He honest to God, he looked like he was making that final special appearance at WrestleMania 50. And so,
that's a good look.
I mean, yeah, it was just, I don't know. But, he is filming a movie with Jackie Chan right now, so maybe that's what the look is for, I would hope that...
It's probably a movie role.
Being a guy who doesn't have much hair, I can tell you right now, I don't want to mess with hair. That's one of the reasons I want to be bald, is I don't want to get up in the morning and have to worry about, messing with hair. So to me... He's used to having a crew cut and stuff like that. Why you'd want to mess with that much hair, I don't know. It doesn't make him look any better.
No, I think he's acknowledged that too. I think that was the big joke this weekend was his hair. And here's a question: where's Lio Rush in this? We've seen him for the last few weeks on Raw being Bobby Lashley's hype man.
He was with Cena. He doesn't need Lio Rush.
Cena clearly carrying the load in terms of like fan interest and charisma between he and Bobby Lashley. So I can get on that level why Lio Rush does not need to be there. But I mean, we've established this relationship now between Lashley and Lio, and you would think they would keep that going. I mean, how cool would it have been to see Cena and Lio Rush have kind of a cool moment where like Cena maybe in the comeback lifts Lio up and uses him like a lawn dart against Elias and KO or something like that. That would have been a cool little moment.
Well, right. Well, at least somebody on the face team other than Bobby Lashley would have taken a bump at that point.
Yeah, so. That was another notable thing. I think Cena took exactly one bump the entire time.
Off the apron.
Off the apron. The easiest thing you could possibly do.
And then, oh my gosh, let's get to the finisher.
Oh, yeah.
Cena's finisher.
Yes, the Sandy Edge Wanto is what I wrote. I know that's terribly wrong, but it's like, I saw him bust this out. I saw a video of him doing it at a house show a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I did too.
So I was warned of this, but I love the fact that Michael Cole referred to it as the sixth move of doom. That is so meta and just on point. I love that. But can we talk for a minute about the opening part? I did enjoy Elias's rendition of Thunderstruck.
Oh, yeah.
But you could tell he got tired after a while. Because I can't talk about this. I dabbled in guitar in high school and college. And the most complex song I did was Blackbird, so I can't possibly speak to Elias's ability. But I love he was just like doing it for a bit, and then like he just stopped and goes right into whatever the hell he was doing for the jam. But then after the match, when Cena and Lashley win, very predictably, Cena cuts that promo afterward where it's kind of a goodbye, but it's kind of not. I feel it's a better farewell address than like whatever the hell The Rock did in that same situation.
Right. I don't know. I mean, like he said, time will tell what happens. He's living in the moment, and he was enjoying his moment there, I guess. So right, so I don't know. I'm not really sure what the heck the future holds. Maybe we're just going to see him at Manias from now on or something.
Yeah, I mean, it never really occurred to me until watching this and kind of looking at his IMDb just how busy he is now doing the movies. He's been doing this for years now, but it really just occurs to me, man, it's like he's
like
gone.
The wrestling Michael Strahan. How does he even...
I feel like he's so busy, but I feel like he got a faster track than The Rock did. Although it's perspective because I think Cena paid his dues more in wrestling before going mainstream like that, and The Rock was only in the business like on top for maybe 2-3 years before he finally blew up.
Right. Cena's been the guy, dude, for longer than Hogan and Austin now. You got to realize a lot of people don't think
Austin,
about that.
Rock,
it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Even combined. Well, maybe not combined, but pretty close.
It is crazy to think about like other, when the business was really hot, you had Rock and Austin. Those guys were only on top for no more than 3 years at a time.
Right.
And meanwhile, Cena was like the guy for a very long time, at least a decade. It's just crazy to think about how that was, how Austin and Rock were like, shooting stars. And
right, absolutely.
I don't know if you want to call Cena like a white dwarf or something like that.
White dwarf.
Or a red dwarf. I don't know. It's been a long time since I took astronomy. Next matchup here, the IIconics versus Naomi and Asuka. The IIconics, of course, are the home country gals. I don't think they're from Melbourne, but I think they are from us. We know they're from Australia.
Right.
We know that much about them.
Right.
So they come out there and they cut this like really surprisingly tame babyface entrance. Like, I was expecting them to do kind of a thing. It's like that promo we see where they turn halfway through. It's like, I'm glad I left Australia because this place sucks. It's we didn't get that, and the promo is just kind of like, like they're better when they're heels. I mean, this is a one-time thing, but it's just one of those things where it's like you could have met them halfway and done something heelish still with that. With Naomi and Asuka's entrance, I feel they missed an opportunity. I feel Asuka should have worn some clothes that glowed in the black light.
Right.
Because I think like at one point when they're in the ring together and they're doing their dancing, you only see like Asuka's floating hair. Like you don't see any of her body. And like compared to Naomi, who's all decked out in that color scheme. Like, I was surprised. Like, you would think incidentally there's something on Asuka's outfit that would glow.
Just a couple ribbons or some sort of shit.
But nothing. So anyway, the match itself, I thought it was kind of Like, that one didn't really do it for me. And like, I don't know.
We know what it was, man. It was to get them over the IIconics, I think, in their hometown, to get that huge pop for them and see how it goes, which is weird because we did talk about this, me and you and Chris, how usually when you go to your hometown, you're losing. You're the jobber. But I think what it is that people needed to be established. What better way than to get them that big pop in a huge stadium in front of their hometown?
Yeah, so it's definitely like a landmark win for them, especially since coming to the main roster. They've never had a moment this big before, and may never have it again, depending on how things go in the future. But that's a great moment for them. Not the only time we're going to see the hometown folks win tonight, which I think is a record.
Spoiler alert!
Yeah, but the match itself, the finish, surprising. I'd say that them winning was one of the biggest surprises of the night, honestly.
It was, absolutely. Next to, we'll talk about that too later.
Yeah. AJ Styles defends the WWE Championship against Samoa Joe in another, the latest in their saga against each other, where now the family's been getting involved in everything. Samoa Joe just wants to adopt Styles as children, apparently. He just wants to be a loving husband and father because he feels that AJ is not doing enough.
Well, he's been on the road trying to take care of his family all these years since TNA, and finally he's forcing him to be home and be a father to his family.
You and I talked about this when the show was going. You don't really care for this angle and the way it's gone with the family stuff. But
I don't like bringing family into wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, I think it works in small doses, and I think it only works best when there's a good reason for it. Like, I was talking with Nick Aldis a few weeks ago in England, and he said when I did a feud with Bram over Mickie James, that made sense because we're best friends. After that, didn't make any sense. So I can buy into a Samoa Joe AJ Styles feud where family gets involved because they have that history from Impact Wrestling TNA. We get some chair play at one point. Joe brings in a table, he sets it up, and Styles grabs him and dumps him to the table. Not the cleanest landing in the world, but it looked effective. Joe selling his leg. He says, I heard it pop, and then AJ Styles, like a shark to blood in the water, just attacks the leg over and over again. But that does allow Joe to lock in the Coquina Clutch a few times. It's like three times. At least three attempts of the Coquina Clutch. Then they tease the Muscle Buster again. Styles gets out of the clutch and puts the calf crusher on Joe. He's more than that leg, and Joe taps out. It was a great match. I'd say one of the top ones of the night. Really, it's going to be, for me, it's going to be kind of neck and neck between this Cruiserweight title and the opener with the Bar and the New Day.
Right.
But, my question here is this, and we know what's going to happen at Crown Jewel from here. You probably know what's happening already. I'm not going to bother with spoilers here, though, and we'll talk about that in the corresponding match. But, with that match in place, man, Samoa Joe losing pretty emphatically and decisively in the last two encounters. Well, the last one had some controversy, but it's Joe is not... I don't think he's ever won a feud since coming to the main roster.
Right. Really. Chris actually pointed that out earlier. And he was like, I don't know if Joe's ever won a feud. And maybe he hasn't.
We thought about it. You're right. I don't think he's won a single feud.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how much further, assuming that, they want to resume this feud after Crown Jewel, you would think maybe, what can Joe possibly do to top, going up to their house? To make this an angle worth keeping going. And maybe this speculation's all for naught because maybe they're not going to touch it. Maybe they're going to cool off Joe and Styles.
Maybe there's a drive-through adoption place in Las Vegas he can drive Wendy and the kids through.
Play with their mouths.
Right.
Do you want to be adopted by Joe? Oh, yes, I do. 6-woman tag team match as the Bellas and Ronda Rousey, the women's champion, goes against the Riott Double T squad. What can you say about this match? I mean, I think that this is probably a better match in some ways than the previous women's tag, but like not by much. I think that to me the funniest part was when there's this moment in the ring between Brie and Liv, where Liv like sticks her tongue out and Brie's supposed to grab it, which is like
right. That's right. Okay, and she couldn't quite grab
takes
it.
Takes a couple tries to grab it. The tongue's one of those things in wrestling.
Oh, and then she whips her up. It's almost like the dick flip from Joey Ryan, but with a tongue. And then she whips her up, and she's the tongue lick. And then she says Brie mode.
Yeah,
and the crowd's like,
the crowd goes mild over Brie mode. They really couldn't have cared less about this match. Of every one of the match, I'd say Brie's probably the weak link.
Well,
like Nikki, I thought was very good with what she did. I mean, she was mostly selling and stuff.
Right.
But I mean, I think she did really well what she did. I think Ronda, again, doing good. I think she was in a nice protected place where she didn't have to sell too much. When Ronda was making her comeback at the end, I was like, well, I bet she's going to do a double armbar on Logan and Morgan. And that's what she fucking did.
Right.
She, no, that was a worst case scenario. That looks silly. Don't do that,
both out at the same time.
But they did it, and they did. Wow, that's very coordinated of them. They're such a pack. They have that pack mentality where they also have the tap mentality of tapping out at the exact same time.
And like I said, now she's going to go on to Crown Jewel and put the Prince of Saudi Arabia in an armbar and all sorts of good stuff.
That's how progress happens. It's baby steps until Ronda Rousey puts the Prince in an armbar. Cruiserweight Championship match as Cedric Alexander, who won the belt at WrestleMania in the pre-show, goes one-on-one with the hometown boy, Buddy Murphy.
Did you know until today that he was from there?
That Buddy was?
Uh-huh.
I knew he was from Australia.
I didn't actually know that.
And I knew in the hype for this that they were talking about that as well. But I love the fact that they mentioned on social media, and they also mentioned in commentary for Cedric's entrance, Cedric has not lost a match in all of 2018. And like, wow, and he's going against the hometown boy. And what happens when you see NFL games? Like, this kicker is the most accurate in the division, and he's never, and then he shanks it left or something like that. That's exactly what that felt like to me. It was like epic foreshadowing with that one. But it was still a really entertaining match. At one point, Cedric hits this big-ass top rope Michinoku driver
that looked awesome.
on a Murphy that was just
I thought that was it.
Unreal. That was an amazing match. At one point, people chanting Buddy's name in the audience, and you can see Cedric kind of like acknowledging it. That was kind of a cool wrinkle. I doubt that's going to lead to anything more. I don't think it's going to start the wheels in motion for a Cedric heel turn, for example.
Right.
But I think it was a nice little nod, and it's like it shows like that's the mark of a good worker, if you can kind of like acknowledge the crowd but not like get totally taken out by them. So that was kind of a good move there.
And that's what I kept saying through the whole match. I can't believe how good of a worker Buddy is. Mm-hmm. I mean, gosh, the guy can sell. Well, yeah, both of them, but he can sell a lot better than just remembering like Blake and Murphy. Back then, I never thought to myself, "Oh man, that guy's so good." But now, just singles, he's really stepped up with the caliber of work that he's doing.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's a shame that these guys are kind of relegated to 205 Live, which, from all I understood and heard, it's an amazing show and all that. But, I mean, it's just, you want to see them shine on a brighter platform, a bigger platform, where the stakes are a lot higher. But I guess if you're in your own little world, being a big fish in a small pond doesn't hurt either. Buddy kicks out of 3 big-ass moves in a row, including the lumbar check, which I thought that's like video game stuff. That is indie shit right there. You kick out of that many big moves. I think you can get away with that every once in a while. And this was probably the one time a year they're going to be able to get away with that shit.
Well, hold on. There's guys that later on in the night kick out of a lot more crazy stuff, too.
That is true as well.
We'll talk about that, too.
Buddy hits Cedric on the way down from a top rope move with another knee.
That looked clean.
Yeah, and then it looked very good. Into the pump handle driver for Buddy to win and become the new Cruiserweight champion. This is crazy. It's like, how long have we seen Cedric either, it's like before Enzo got fired when he was the champion.
Well, right.
Cedric was fighting for the championship forever, and then he finally got a shot at WrestleMania, won it. So it's been like the 205 Live has kind of been the Cedric show for well over half a year now.
Right.
And beyond even. And so for Buddy to unseat Cedric here on this big platform in his hometown, what a moment. It's crazy that both of the Australian sides in a match on this show won. That's got to be a record.
Right, it has to be. Well, it definitely is. I mean, but like I told you, next time they go back, they had to get over this time.
Yeah.
So next time they go back, watch the IIconics and Buddy Murphy will all job
Just
in Australia.
Get trounced. to the Dickens. Yeah, but it was a really good match. Easily one of the better ones of the night. Crazy, high-flying action, hard-hitting stuff. Easily one of the best matches. Go and check this one out. 6-man tag team match now as Braun and friends go against the Shield, who are wearing their nice special show masks that they wear.
Braun and friends. Braun and friends.
Braun and Strowman and friends, like the old Garfield and Friends cartoon. Yeah, Roman and Dean are taken out of action before the bell officially rings, and so it's 3-on-1 Rollins for a time. At one point in the match, Braun Strowman goes to the top rope for a diving attack, and he is a trembling, quivering, sweaty mess, like ready to flop off at any given moment. Just like, oh my god!
Please don't rotate, just flop off.
Oh god, it would have just been like, imagine the hole, the Braun-shaped hole would have been left in the ring or whatever he fell. And that also I saw earlier in the night. Other people would go to the top rope, and it was like doing this. I'm like, did nobody tighten the top turnbuckle and stuff?
Yeah, you said that a few times through the night.
It happened a couple times, I noticed, but Braun's was the most obvious because like you don't see a dude that size go up there.
Right.
That's some straight up 2K19 shit for to go up there. It's like,
at least he didn't try the shooting star.
Yeah, it's like, come on. Yeah, I'm sure someone told him, hey buddy, like Brock could do a shooting star. I'm sure you can too. Maybe he'll bust that out at Crown Royal.
Right.
Or
Crown Royal.
I wish. They should have gotten a sponsorship with Crown Royal for that one. At one point, Reigns inadvertently hits Ambrose with the Superman punch off the apron, which is sowing the seeds of dissent. But then we have that moment. The payoff to this is Braun and friends surround Rollins and Reigns. Ambrose pops up, completely opposite side of the ring. How the hell did he get over there? From when he got knocked off of one third. He's like, I'm going to sell and crawl all the way over here because I got to get in the hard cam.
Right.
And so they do that, and so you think Ambrose is going to turn on them. But no, he's going to fight alongside his Shield brothers. At one point, Strowman goes to charge Ambrose on the outside. Roman comes from out of nowhere to spear Braun with the OMG moment through the barricade, and so now he saved him. First he hit him on accident, and he saved him. It's redemptive. It's a lovely redemption
Rollins
story.
could tell, Ambrose, he totally was like, oh my gosh, Reigns just saved me. Yeah.
Does this mean we're like real brothers now? Am I a real boy? Ambrose hits Dolph with dirty deeds to win the match for his team. This match to me started off like a super slow. I was not into this match in the first third of it. But then, it just kicked out of the second gear and really, got exciting by the end. But
it did.
I think it had to do with the fact it was a 3-on-1 thing, and the story is how Rollins going to survive. That might be a correlation to why I wasn't added into it at first. But yeah, I think once everyone got involved and more people, you had the potential for more spots and more people involved. I think that was a much more enjoyable experience.
Right, absolutely. I thought the match was great once it picked up, like you said, and everybody shined bright in the match. Ziggler looked good.
Yeah.
They all look good.
Yeah. So we said earlier the biggest shock of the night, it seemed, was when the IIconics, beat the vaunted team of Naomi and Asuka. But this, I think, topped it in terms of just complete, what happened here?
I think everybody in the arena, everybody in the back of the arena.
Everyone was shocked about this, including the people involved. It's The Miz versus Daniel Bryan, #1 contendership match for the WWE Championship. And this is you'd think this match is going to be part of, if not the blow-off to this big feud they've had since the summer and everything. This match, I don't even think goes 5 minutes. And
no, it doesn't. It's like 2 minutes.
On a small package, Daniel rolls Miz up. The referee counts to 3, and everyone's like, ugh. The crowd doesn't pop for it because they don't expect it.
The ref has to call for the bell 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, it's like the bell doesn't ring right away, the music doesn't play right away, and the announcers don't know what to do. And so this was just what happened? I cannot believe that this was, either they did a very, very good job of making it look like an accident, which does kind of subvert the whole purpose of wrestling, or it was an actual accident.
But God, even Sheamus's music hit right away after he beat him at WrestleMania that year in 18 seconds. So I don't think that this was planned. I think that was the planned outcome, but I think they went home early accidentally.
Yeah, and so, of course, the silver lining of this, we're going to have Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles at Crown Jewel. So, hey, there's that. That should be good, right?
That should be.
It's for the last time ever. And unfortunately for them, they probably had to go long because of Daniel Bryan and The Miz fucking up the match just before this. It's Triple H versus The Undertaker. Shawn Michaels is in Hunter's corner, and Kane is in The Undertaker's corner. I did enjoy seeing a little NXT patch on Triple H's vest.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nice little nod to his kids in Orlando. That was pretty cool. At one point, Cole, during the introductions, mentions they fought in singles matches, at Fatal 4-Ways, Hell in a Cells, Triple Threats, Backstage Brawls. I'm like, dude, at this point, you're just naming off match types in 2K19. Is this a really subtle ad?
Right.
It's You're just naming all these different match types. I just saw this the other day in my game. As suddenly the match has now become a no DQ match.
Out of nowhere. The Undertaker looked surprised when he heard that, too.
It's like, I think it's funny because now you've got, all these combustible elements, and so you better not cause any trouble, Shawn and Kane.
Right.
Wouldn't that have been amazing if they had a straight-up match and those two were not a factor? That would have been amazing. So, no, they had to call it a no disqualification match.
Well, real quick, a side note, too. Me and you and Chris all took bets earlier on how long The Undertaker's entrance was going to be. Because, people's entrance were getting cut off like halfway through the walk.
Yeah, that was very interesting. The ramp was so long, you notice that music was getting cut off before they get in the ring and do their hard cam pose. That happened a lot. So we were going to see how long Undertaker's theme was. It's the first time I ever timed it out. And from the very first gong to when the music fades out, it's 4 minutes and 42 seconds. That was the actual official time. And I'm sure it's been longer in some cases.
Probably Orlando.
Well, no, see, with Orlando, they cut around that because
he came up through
the from an elevator to cut the time in half, probably. But anyway, Triple H and Hunter, they wrestle. They do stuff in the ring, out of the ring, back into the ring, into the crowd. They flop around out there for a few minutes.
More false finishes than a Young Bucks match.
They try doing this pedigree counter to a backdrop onto the guardrail or whatever, and they just can't get coordinated. And Triple H just kind of flops over there. Right. It doesn't look very good. And then you see Kane and Shawn kind of interjecting themselves, or little in and out kind of thing, where it's there's not one concentrated moment where they just get their shit in.
Right.
It's it's all over the place, and it's almost the detriment of the match, where it's it's this thing where it's all kind of a cat and mouse thing where you just want them to either fight or don't. And they're doing these things where it's boom, and then they run away or something, and it's kind of cheap almost. Right. Shawn does a lot of that mostly. And then finally they bring a chair into the ring. The sound at which Taker was hitting Triple H in the back of those chairs, oh my God, it was such a clatter noise.
Bennett too,
reverberating around the entire stadium there in Melbourne. Shawn and Triple H get Kane knocked out on the table. Triple H with a rare elbow drop off the apron onto Kane through the table.
Put Kane out.
Put him out for a long time. Shades of Cactus Jack. That was the one thing Triple H learned. It was when Mega Man takes the boss's powers. He took the corner elbow drop, the apron elbow drop from Cactus Jack, and waited until this very moment to finally pull it off. Taker hits the tombstone. We get a kick out. Taker socks Mike Chioda in the face. Why do we need a referee bump when this is a no DQ match?
Dude, he really socked him, though. It looked like he hit him hard.
Clean right on the button. He didn't really get there. Michaels tries to interject and stop Taker from beating Triple H up too much. Again, and also one thing that was very funny, too, was Shawn took a fair amount of bumps. And not just near the climax of the match, but also just kind of throughout. And he bumped a bunch of times, and his hat never came off his head. That's amazing.
Super glued on that little bandana of his.
It was very impressive. It's when you see when you wrestle as somebody in a video game, why don't their hat ever come off? Well, that's the whatever technology Shawn Michaels borrowed from. That's what goes into 2K19. It did finally come off though when Taker grabbed him by the hat
and
to toss him over the top. And I did JR call hat when it finally came off. Triple H wraps the chair around Taker's neck, stomps on it, and then Kane pulls the referee out from the 3 count to prevent that from happening. HBK hands Triple H the sledgy, Kane hands Undertaker the chair, and then Triple H hits the chair into Taker's face and makes the most satisfying sound. It was this boom noise. Like a cartoon sound effect when he got hit with it.
Now we know that sledgehammer's real.
Yeah, because it was metal on metal. The Hell's Gate pops up in Biggs' favorite move, the Hell's Gate, comes out of nowhere. Triple H counters it with him choking Taker with the handle of the sledgehammer, and Taker makes some of the weirdest grunts.
I described him as one of the villains on Scooby-Doo.
He sounded like a cow giving birth.
Or worse.
The match finally ends when Shawn and Triple H just spam the shit out of Taker with finishing moves and a sledgehammer shot. Triple H wins, ends the drought. And I think the last time Triple H beat The Undertaker one-on-one was at Insurrection 2002, which I just covered on my channel for classic pay-per-views because that was a UK show, which doesn't count. Of course, the only place Triple H is ever going to beat Undertaker is in foreign waters across the borders.
Right.
He can't put Triple H, he can't put Taker over, he can't go over Taker in the States, brother. After the match, we had this curtain call. It's a very emotional moment where all 4 guys hug as if they didn't just try to kill each other.
Jim Cornette he was pissed.
Yeah, and so they do the curtain call, they raise the arms, they get the pyro and everything. Then afterward, that's when Taker and Kane beat up Triple H and Shawn. They chokeslam Shawn through the table, the announce table, and that's where it ends. They do their walk up the
They
ramp.
posed long enough with the pyro and stuff.
I
You
thought
would think that was going to be it.
I thought it was going to be the end. I was kind of hoping for a beatdown, but I'm like, okay, it's kind of going to end it, whatever. Oh, okay, well then you proved me wrong. Thanks, guys. So then, yeah, they end it with Taker and Kane beating up Triple H and Shawn after the fact. So Taker gets his heat back, I guess. This match went on way too long, and again, you could probably put a lot of this on the fact that Miz and Bryan probably went a lot shorter than they were expecting.
Right.
So they had to make good with what they had. But man, that was just a match that it was good in spurts, and you could watch like a highlight video of the match probably, and of just like the best parts. It would still be kind of a lengthy one, but like if you stitch them all together into a single take of a match, like it'd be so much better than what we had.
Well,
in this one. Like this is not going to match the emotion of what we saw in the Falsies, the level of like, oh my god, like that WrestleMania 28 was at Hell in a Cell.
Right.
And
it kept me on my toes though, as far as like what was going to happen towards the end.
Yeah, there's still some very interesting moments, some great spots. Again, in short bursts, had some moments of brilliance, but for the most part, this match didn't really do it for me.
And well, I don't know. I mean, I kind of like the match just because it's an ongoing story in a weird way. Even though they say it's the last time, you know what? They're right. It was the last time in Australia, in Melbourne, that they're going to wrestle in the cricket stadium. That doesn't mean in Perth in 10 years they're not going to have that match.
They'll find some way to bring it back. But
right.
And of course, the beatdown on Shawn afterwards opens the door and further justifies in kayfabe his comeback, whether it's going to happen at Crown Jewel probably, or like Survivor Series or something. Shawn is going to wrestle sometime in the next month. I think we can all kind of like be in agreement of that. So, Biggs, that was the Super Showdown in Melbourne, Australia. We had our Vegemite. We had our 4 and 20. That was a very interesting show. Had some surprises, a few of them. Probably not the surprises we were expecting to see.
Right.
But I guess that's what makes it a surprise, is that we don't expect it. But, Biggs, what was your overall grade for this show?
Well, I just want to say this before I say my grade, is that when we watched the Greatest Royal Rumble, afterwards we, talked about how we felt like it just was kind of like a big house show.
Yep.
This, other than Buddy Murphy winning the championship, did kind of have that weird feel to me throughout the whole entire show. It was a good show, though. I thought that all the wrestling matches, other than, Bryan Miz, went the distance and entertained me. So I'll give it like a C+, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm inclined to go kind of C+, B-. If there's some ground but between those 2 points, that's kind of what I would grade it as, because it was, it was basically a glorified house show. We use that term a lot.
Right.
Yes, it was on the network and it was a big to-do. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those shows where, again, with the exception of Murphy and Alexander, there was not a lot of like, this show didn't have to happen, or at least didn't need to air. It was just one of those things where it's like, it's the people who you kind of expect to win the match.
Right.
And again, the IIconics winning was a big shocker as well. But it's like, there's some matches that didn't do it for me. Like I said, the main event, it was kind of like, it was there. Mania 28 was better. And, the women's tag team matches were okay in moments. I think that the finish to Naomi, Asuka, and the IIconics was more exciting than the whole rest of the match. It was just one of those things where I think that, it was a good show, that the performers did well, and that no one got hurt, and
right.
Everyone had fun. It's just, one of those things where can't take it or leave it kind of show. Kind of like Greatest Royal Rumble.
Right. No, it was a good show, like I said,
Yeah, but not like an amazing show.
Yeah.
Just like, this is fine, this is entertaining. I'm glad it was only 4 hours.
And we don't want to as well, just like they put, with the Greatest Royal Rumble, they were trying to make it sound like, oh, it's going to be the greatest thing ever and all that. Don't get too excited for this next, show that they're going to do, the Crown Jewel, because it's probably going to have a lot of that feel too. You're not going to see anything over the top probably happen, but maybe this time around, they're like, yeah, let's make it better.
But it's like, here's my thing, like, why not? Like, why would you not want to have, a big
some big
storyline
moments
thing
over
happening, some big wham moments happening on your show overseas? Because everyone who has a network's going to see it no matter what, and
right.
it's there. So it's like, I don't know. It's like, it's the same thing with like, if a title changes on a house show. Yeah, like, it's not going to be seen on TV, but it'll get people talking. And
right.
it gets, it makes things trending and all that stuff. The internet makes the world so small. So, you can have a moment like that on a show, which is very highly hyped and is seen on a global platform with the network. and you can get away with that, and I think we'll forgive you. We here in America, y'all in Australia, you can have your big moments. We want you to have them. We want, Davey Boy and Brett in England. We want Buddy Murphy and Cedric.
Why couldn't
Melbourne.
Jinder Mahal go over in India on Triple H?
I know.
That just killed him. No, I'm just joking.
But yeah, so that's kind of my take on these shows. Like, they're fun, but I think I'd get more enjoyment out of them if they treated them like canonical, mainland pay-per-views and actually had shit happen during them.
Right.
Except for the one or two kind of like bones they throw. Well, that's going to do it for us. What did you think of Super Showdown? Let us know in the comment section below, and give it a letter grade in the gimmick in the upper right-hand corner of your screen as well. For J Biggs, I'm Bryan Zane, and we'll see you next time.